Welcome, everyone. Today we're boarding a train, one that's headed for a pretty surreal world.
Right, leaving behind the rational world of contracts and deadlines.
Exactly. And jumping right into a landscape powered by, well, clockwork and this really deep sense of melancholy. Our mission today is a deep dive into the beautifully reconstructed world of Syberia Remastered.
And this is such a great topic.
For those of you who loved the original from 2002, you already know this game is a landmark. And for newcomers, you're about to discover a masterclass in atmospheric storytelling.
Definitely.
We've pulled together all the launch reviews, some developer notes, and analysis of the original to really give you the ultimate shortcut to understanding this whole iconic saga.
And that's so important because the source material really frames this not just as a visual upgrade, but as a critical preservation effort. We need to unpack the origins, Sokal's vision, and, what this November 2025 remaster really brings to the table.
Okay, let's start right there at the core. The artistic vision. The original Syberia captivated players way back in 2002. It wasn't just another point-and-click game, was it?
Not at all. It felt like a movable graphic novel, and what's so fascinating is that this entire world, it all springs from the mind of one person, the Belgian artist and writer Benoît Sokal.
Right, his background was in graphic novels.
Exactly. The Inspector Canardo series, for example. That background gave Syberia this distinct, almost hand-drawn feel right from the very beginning.
And that aesthetic is so striking. I mean, people often just lump it into the steampunk genre.
They do, yeah, but the sources we looked at are pretty keen to clarify that. They say Sokal's style is, well, it's more accurately defined as clockpunk.
Clockpunk.
Well,
Okay, so what's the actual distinction there? Like, what's the technical difference?
It's a subtle one, but it's really critical to the whole atmosphere. Steampunk often focuses on, massive, smoky, brass and rivet, kind of industrial sprawl.
Very Victorian steam power.
Right. Clockpunk, on the other hand, is almost pre-industrial. It's all about intricate, precise mechanisms, gears and springs, the elegant logic of a mechanical clock.
So not the gritty, messy Industrial Revolution. It's more the beautiful, intricate engineering of a time before all that.
And that precise, clean aesthetic creates this wonderful contrast with the raw, emotional, and eventually very philosophical story that Kate Walker goes on.
It really does. Because she starts as this quintessential modern person,
Yeah.
a New York lawyer, right?
Mergers and acquisitions, yeah. Her first mission is the epitome of corporate rationality: fly to this remote French alpine village, Valladolid, to finalize the sale of an old automaton factory.
So corporate, so simple.
hmm
But that simple legal task it completely derails almost immediately.
It does. She finds that the owner died, and the true heir, Hans Vorarlberg, has just vanished. He's on this lifelong, very eccentric quest.
So the whole corporate mission just transforms into this surreal, mysterious journey across Eastern Europe. And that pivot is really the genius of it all.
It is. And on a bigger level, this is where Sokal challenges you. He takes a character defined by deadlines and contracts and just forces her to confront an obsession with old mechanisms and mythical creatures.
Speaking of that obsession, let's jump into the narrative. Kate's goal is just to secure the sale. What does she find out about Hans Vorarlberg that makes her abandon everything?
She discovers that Hans, the last heir, isn't just alive, he's a mechanical genius, a true prodigy, and he's obsessed with this singular kind of impossible goal.
Which is,
He's been working his whole life to find this one specific legendary place.
and that destination is where we go full on into the fantastical, the
Yeah.
mythical island of Syberia, where woolly mammoths are rumored to still be roaming around.
I mean, what a leap, right? From closing a factory deal in the Alps to that?
A massive leap.
And it raises the big question: why would this career-driven lawyer just abandon her comfortable life to chase an eccentric inventor and myths?
The sources suggest she's pursuing something she didn't even know she was missing.
Exactly. She chooses to follow his path. She stops being an observer and becomes a participant.
And she's not alone. She has Oscar, the iconic, and let's be honest, sometimes really irritating automaton.
Oscar is, he's essentially her mechanical conscience, her companion, this brilliant piece of clockwork who ends up driving her train.
And that train takes them through these stunningly atmospheric places.
Just incredible places, hauntingly beautiful but forgotten towns, abandoned Soviet-era industrial sites, and these vast snowy landscapes. It's all just steeped in this feeling of melancholy and lost grandeur.
That feeling. That brings us to the big challenge for the remaster.
Yeah.
How do you update the visuals from 2002 without losing that unique artistic charm?
This is where the technical deep dive gets really interesting. The visual overhaul is, well, it's extensive. It's not just a texture update.
The original used pre-rendered 2D backgrounds, didn't it?
It did. Static, high-resolution paintings that your 3D character just walked across. It was a staple of the era.
Yeah, and it often led to some awkward pathfinding and pretty limited camera movement.
Exactly. So the sources confirm that for the remaster, every single one of those locations, validly in Barrackstadt, all of them, has been completely rebuilt in stunning, fully traversable 3D environments.
Whoa, so they aren't just static images anymore. They're living, breathing spaces.
That's the idea, which means they had to completely overhaul the lighting to capture that mood, that Sokal artwork feel.
That must have been incredibly difficult.
Oh, absolutely. The developers basically had to reverse engineer the feel of his hand-drawn colors and then apply modern lighting techniques to it, so it retains that dreamlike quality but just feels more immersive.
And of course the characters, Kate and Oscar. If you rebuild the world, you have to rebuild them too.
For sure. Their character models are completely redesigned to meet modern graphical standards. But, and this is a big but, the sources repeatedly stress that the goal was preservation over just modernization.
So they look sharper, but they still feel like the originals.
Precisely. The charm, the specific visual style of Sokal's designs, it's all still there.
Okay, let's talk about the original game's quirks. Because point-and-click games from that era could be pretty famous for creating friction for the player.
You mean the cranky controls and the dreaded pixel hunting?
Exactly that. How did the remaster tackle that stuff?
This is where the accessibility improvements really shine. They're clearly aiming to bring in a modern audience without alienating the old fans. So the point-and-click gameplay is intact, but it's just way more intuitive.
So what are the actual fixes? What do they change?
A few critical quality of life updates. First, smoother navigation and much better pathfinding so Kate isn't constantly getting stuck on a corner.
Thank goodness.
And second, streamlined inventory management. No more endless scrolling through a mess of items.
What about the puzzles? Were they simplified at all?
No, not simplified. The intellectual challenge is still there. The refinement is all in the interaction. So things like clearer context-sensitive actions, an updated interface, better signaling of what you can click on, it solves that pixel hunting problem.
Right, where you're just clicking everywhere on the screen hoping to find something.
Exactly. They basically polish the friction out of the system. It's a perfect balance for a remaster, really.
It allows newcomers to just engage with the story without having to fight a 20-year-old game engine.
Precisely.
Okay, moving from mechanics to emotion. Let's talk audio. The sources really highlight the audio design as a standout feature.
You just can't talk about the tone of Syberia without talking about Inon Zur's soundtrack. It's hauntingly beautiful. It's essential.
He uses these orchestral movements with Eastern European folk melodies, right?
He does, and it complements the settings perfectly. Those abandoned towns, that decaying grandeur of the post-Soviet landscapes. The music tells its own story of loss and maybe a little distant hope.
And the voice acting got the same level of attention, it seems, re-recorded in multiple languages.
Yes, and the detail is fantastic. The sources specifically call out how much better they captured Oscar's precise, slightly detached mechanical cadence.
And that contrasts so well with Kate's own emotional journey.
It does. The new recordings just let the performances fully match the redesigned models and the immersion of the new 3D environments. It all clicks together.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. The thematic depth. Syberia isn't just about finding some missing guy. It's a meditation on bigger ideas.
Absolutely. It explores memory and identity and the passage of time. It's just steeped in this tension between progress and nostalgia.
You see that everywhere, the rational corporate world just crashing into this forgotten mechanical past.
And that tension, the human versus the mechanical, the rational versus the fantastical, that is Kate's entire journey. She starts as a hyper-rational lawyer.
And ends up a seeker of truth, chasing this impossible dream of mammoths.
And that transformation is the heart of the game's legacy. It mirrors your own experience of falling into this surreal world, and, it's poignant. The sources note this remaster is really a deep, respectful tribute to Benoît Sokal's vision, especially since he passed away in 2021.
It ensures his artistic legacy lives on in the best possible way.
It really does.
So for anyone listening who is ready to start this journey right now, where can they get Syberia Remastered?
It's available on all the current gen platforms, so Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. It even launched with a 10% discount, which is a nice touch.
And the reception sounds like they really nailed that balance. Critics and players seem to be overwhelmingly positive.
They are, praising the faithful recreation, the stunning visuals, and just the enduring power of that emotional story.
It's also part of a larger collection, right?
It is. For anyone new to the series, it's worth noting you can get it as part of the Syberia collection, which has all the entries. It's the perfect, most polished starting point to dive into Sokal's complete world.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into a world that mixes this precise clockwork genius with ancient mythology. This remaster really does sound like the definitive way to experience Kate Walker's journey.
And as you think about diving into this world, maybe consider this. If Kate's initial corporate mission represented the ultimate rational pursuit of progress, what is her final decision? To abandon all that and chase mammoths to Siberia? Tell us about the ultimate human need for the fantastical over the purely functional.
That is a fantastic thought. Definitely something for you to mull over as you explore the Vorarlberg factory. And hey, if you have any questions about the material we covered today, just leave us a comment below. We actually love digging deeper into what you're all curious about. For more deep dives like this, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.